Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Vitinamine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Vitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachatrine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Satarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachatrine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Jaya Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Jaya Nitai Sachi Sundar, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Ki Jai, Shri Shri Nitai Sachi Sundara Ji Ki Jai, Gaura Premanandi, Hari 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 Bol. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Jaya Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Jaya Nitai Sachi Sundar. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ho, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kiba Chayo, Chayo Go, Rachande, Adra, Tikosho, Jayo, Chayo Go, Rachande, Adra, Tikosho, Chanavita, Jagamandalova, Chanavitata Vale, Jagamandalova, Chanavitata Vale, Jagamandalova, Yaga Manalova Rakhi Nanitai Chahan Abne Gadhara Rakhi Mega Dada Taki Mega Dada Taki Nikate Advaita Shri Vasa Chadradara Nikate Advaita Shri Vasa Chadradara Nikate Advaita Shri Vasa Jatradara Nikate Advaita Shri Vasa Jatradara Vashi Yache Gaurachan Radna Simhasane Vashi Yache Gaurachan Radna Simhasane Vashi Yache Gaurachan Radna Simhasane Vashi Rachito Rachan Ratna Simhasane Arati Korena Brahma Ati Devagane 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 Narahari Ati Kori Shamarajulaya Narahari Ati Kori Shamarajulaya Narahari Ati Kori Shamarajulaya Narahari Ati Kori Shamarajulaya Sanchaya Mukunda Vasu Ghosh Atigaya Sanchaya Mukunda Vasu Ghosh Atigaya Sanchaya Mukunda Vasu Gosha Atigaya Sanchaya Mukunda Vasu Gosha Atigaya Shanka Bache Kanta Bache Bache Karatala Shanka Bache Kanta Bache Bache Karatala Shanka Bache Kanta Bache Bache Karatala Bolo Shanka Bache Kanta Bache Bache Karatala Madhura Vidanga Vaje Parama Rasala Madhura Vidanga Vaje Parama Rasala Madhura Vidanga Vaje Parama Rasala Hey Madhura Vidanga Vaje Parama Rasala Shanka Bache Kanta Bache Madhur Madhura Madhura Bache Shanka Bache Kanta Bache Madhur Madhura Madhura Bache Shanka Bache Kanta Bache Madhur Madhura Madhur Bache Shanka Bache Kanta Bache Madhur Madhura Madhura Bache Shanka Bache Kanta Bache Madhur Madhura Madhura Bache Shanka Bache Kanta Bache Madhur Madhura Madhura Bache Madhur Madhura Madhura Bache Madhur Madhura Madhura Bache Madhur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Bahu Kuti Chandra Chini Vatana Ujvala 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 Kalate Shevana Mala Kodre Jala Mala 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 Jiva Shukanarata Preme Gathagata Shiva Shukanarata Preme Gathagata Shiva Shukanarata Preme Gathagata Shiva Shukanarata Preme Gathagata Bhakti Vinoda Devi Gaura Sampata 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 Shiva Jayo Jayo Gaura Chante Adadi Kosoba Jayo Jayo Gaura Chante Adadi Kosoba Jayo Jayo Gaura Chante Adadi Kosoba Shiva Jayo Jayo Gaura Chante Adadi Kosoba Chanamika Kavalke Jaga Manaloba Chanamika Kavalke Jaga Manaloba Chanamika Kavalke Jaga Manaloba Chanamika Kavalke Jaga Manaloba Gaurangera Rotik Shobha Jaga Yanamanaloba Gaurangera Rotik Shobha Jaga Yanamanaloba Gaurangera Rotik Shobha Jaga Yanamanaloba Gaurange Arati Shobha Jaga Yanamanaloba Gaurange Arati Shobha Jaga Namana Lopa Shaka Namana Lopa Haribo 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 Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Gaura Haribo Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Oh Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Nitai Satchishundara Nitai Satchishundara Nitai Satchishundara Jaya Nitai Satchishundara Nitai Satchishundara Jaya Nitai Satchishundara Nitai Satchishundara Jaya Nitai Satchishundara Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada Jai Gurudev 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 Jai Gurudev 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 Jai Gurudev Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pachakacharya Shatarashad Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pachakacharya Shatarashad Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Koho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Shri Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Ganga Maya Munamai Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktarinda Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Arati Visheshu Paschatya Tesha Tarini. Hare Krishna. Tesham Satata Yuktanam Pachatam Pritipurvakam Tadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upayanti Te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. And then we had that highlighted sentence at the end. If a devotee is not intelligent enough to make progress on the path of self-realization, but is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotional service, the Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain to him. So then Ritwan Prabhu has brought up the question here. What if, I don't understand that, he said, if a devotee is sincere, then why is Srila Prabhupada saying he may not be intelligent enough? So I looked into that. My answer was not satisfying me on Wednesday. So I came up with a few points. Perhaps we could say not intelligent enough means that devotee Srila Prabhupada speaks to. He speaks of a Kanishta Bhakta. So Kanishta Bhakta may not be intelligent enough, but then the next question, what is intelligence? What is spiritual intelligence? Because obviously we're talking about spiritual intelligence. We all know what material intelligence means, that we'll know. But what is spiritual intelligence? So what I have looked into, what is intelligence? We all know what is material intelligence, right? Material intelligence means we're trying to figure out how we can get the most sense gratification, how we can exploit this material intelligence in so many ways, how we can. So it's all based on sense gratification, material intelligence. But what is spiritual intelligence? So here we have a few hints. Let's just go to that. Here Srila Prabhupada writes, when the devotee's spiritual body begins to manifest, that's interesting. Spiritual body, we know that's already within us, and in due course of time, it's going to manifest after we have purified our existence. So when the spiritual body begins to manifest, he actually enters into his activities in transcendental life, the devotee. At present, we have contacted a material body, material mind, and material intelligence. But when we become free from these material conditions, our spiritual body, spiritual mind, and spiritual intelligence becomes manifest. Well, that's quite clear at that point. When we become free from material conditions, when they are out of our system more and more purified, another nivritti stage, then our spiritual body, our spiritual mind, our spiritual intelligence becomes manifest. But that's quite interesting. So let's go to the second quote. Second quote here, spiritual intelligence too. Here Srila Prabhupada, that's from Srimad Bhagavatam. One who is sufficiently intelligent immediately attains a stage of renunciation of so-called society, family, love, as well as other things. That's interesting here. So we become detached. As Ben said some weeks ago, yukta vairagya, right? That was a big term. Detachment. So Srila Prabhupada says here, when we become sufficiently intelligent, we attain the stage of renunciation from family, from society, from love, and so many other things. Again, I mean, it doesn't need to be said here. That doesn't mean we're giving up our family, we're giving up society, we're giving up all other things. No, it doesn't mean that. But we're giving up our attachment to these things. But I think that's quite clear. So, answer number 3, intelligence. Here Srila Prabhupada writes, Also from Srimad Bhagavatam, the fourth canto. If one takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, he can be elevated to the highest perfection, even though he be lowborn. One acquires lower birth when one's spiritual intelligence is reduced. Now that is very interesting. If one's spiritual intelligence is reduced, then we even take a lower birth, according to Srila Prabhupada. Let's go to the next. Which is the next? 4? 4. The Supreme Master of the Goddess of Fortune herself obviously does not have to beg for food, as pointed out here by the Brahmanas, who are finally manifesting real spiritual intelligence. That's relating to the stories of the Brahmanas' wives. When Krishna and Balaram were sent to the Brahmanas, and the Brahmanas said, no, we are so busy with yagya, don't disturb us. And then they went to the wives of the Brahmins and said, yes, of course, sir. Of course. And they gave all kind of. So here Srila Prabhupada says, the Supreme Master of the Goddess of Fortune, Krishna, obviously does not have to beg for food. Krishna doesn't have to beg for food from the Brahmins or from the wives, as pointed out here by the Brahmanas. Brahmanas eventually came to their senses, who are finally manifesting real spiritual intelligence. Before, they have obviously not manifested spiritual intelligence because they sent the coward boys away. No, don't disturb our yake, don't you see? So now we're getting a more hint what is spiritual intelligence. Completely fixed on Krishna. So the Brahmanas didn't have spiritual intelligence, but now when they came to their senses, they're manifesting real spiritual intelligence. Okay, a bit more. We go to 5. Shukadev Goswami said from Bhagavatam, thus enlightened by Lord Balaram, slender Rukmini forgot her depression and steadied her mind by spiritual intelligence. So, out of depression, spiritual intelligence, steady mind, right? Steady mind. The mind is steadied. So let's go to 6. Shukadev Goswami continued, thus firmly fixing his determination by means of his spiritual intelligence, Sudama remained absolutely devoted to Lord Krishna, and so on. So, firmly fixing his determination by means of his spiritual intelligence. So, that means by spiritual intelligence we can fix our we become determined in our Krishna conscious activities. If you're not determined, then there is not that much spiritual intelligence there, because both goes hand in hand. What is next? 7, right? Also from Srimad Bhagavatam, if one does not become angry when attacked for no apparent reason, and if one does not become enlivened when glorified or worshipped, then one has passed the test of self-realization and is considered fixed in spiritual intelligence. That's interesting, right? So if we don't become angry, we can be, for no apparent reason, someone attacks us, become angry. That happens. We don't know what have we done wrong, and just maybe nothing. And someone attacks us. So if we don't become angry in return when someone attacks us, or become happy, enlivened, and yes, very nice, when someone glorifies or worships us, then we have passed the test of self-realization, and we are considered fixed in spiritual intelligence. So here, spiritual intelligence means we are not disturbed by praise, and we are not disturbed by being put down. That's interesting also. So let's go back. What's next, Ben? Huh? 8. Okay, 8. That's interesting. It's a bit longer one. For one who has taken his birth, death is certain, and for one who is dead, birth is certain. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of our duty, you should not lament. Mano yavat prasidati. Until one has established one's consciousness on the liberated platform or perfect knowledge, one must constantly ward off the attacks of illusion through rigid analytical observation of material nature. The material mind may be attracted to sex. Therefore, by spiritual intelligence, one should scrutinize the temporary nature of one's own body and the body that has artificially become the object of one's material lust. That's interesting, right? If we are attracted by the opposite sex, then we have to analyze, scrutinize the temporary nature of our body and of the body we have been attracted to by spiritual intelligence. One may apply this rigid analysis to all material bodies, not only the opposite sex, from the fantastic cosmic body of Lord Brahma down to that of the most insignificant germ. As previously stated by Lord Krishna, one who is advanced in Krishna consciousness spontaneously avoids sense gratification and is constantly drawn by spiritual love into his relationship with Lord Krishna. One who has not achieved the platform of spontaneous Krishna consciousness must remain constantly vigilant so as not to be grossly cheated by the material energy of the Lord. One who tries to exploit the material energy ruins his spiritual life and experiences varieties of miseries. As a side point, once we have achieved the platform of spontaneous love, we are very much safe. There is no chance of us falling down to the material plane. If we have not achieved this platform of spontaneous Krishna consciousness, we must be vigilant that we're not being cheated by the material energy. Because when we are cheated, we are exploiting material energy for our sense gratification in so many ways. And yes, that comes also along with Vidwan Prabhu, what you have said last time. We are all not on that level of the bridge passes of spontaneous loving affection in our service. But we can offer the result of our service to Krishna, almost karma yoga kind. That we can do, or we can do the constant chanting, as you spoke about, Ritwan, last week. What of the attacks of illusion through rigid analytical observation? That we can do. Let's go back. It was 8, now 9. We had that. Now we go to 10. You see, my memory is just rubbish. In the stage of bhava, what does that mean, bhava? The bhava stage is a spontaneous, loving, devotional service, raga, nuga, raga, bhakti, whatever we may call it, where actually these emotions are exchanged with Krishna. These emotions, let's say we have a leaning towards friendship with the Lord, Sakya Ras. We spoke so many times about the rasas. So let's say we have a leaning to a Sakya Rasa. But on the stage of bhava, we actually exchanging, we actually tasting that friendship with Krishna. We can actually taste it, and that is very ecstatic feelings, of course. That's a high stage. So in the stage of bhava or spontaneous devotional service, in ecstasy, there is a direct transcendental exchange of mellows between Lord Krishna and his pure devotee. That would be very nice. That would be very nice to be on that stage. I would love to taste that friendship with Krishna, to actually taste that mellow in both ways. It goes to Krishna and it comes back. And there is that would be just the perfection of life. But we are on the Vaidhi Bhakti of sadhana bhakti of regulated principles. So far, that's what we have to do. But we can, eventually, we'll come to that. So, the Supreme Lord himself gives his devotee Buddhi Yoga, or spiritual intelligence. Here we go. Buddhi Yoga, or spiritual intelligence. And the devotee acting with that intelligence serves the Lord until he gradually approaches the Lord's supreme abode. Such a devotee can never be affected by ignorance. We cannot fall down from that platform. Once we are there on that bhava platform, but before that bhava, there comes anartha nivritti, the clearing stage, and then it comes nishta, steadiness, and it comes ruchi, some taste, and then asakti, and then bhava. Bhava is almost like prema, almost there. That exchange of transcendental emotion. Like we exchanging, not so transcendental, or perhaps emotions amongst each other. We're feeling for each other, these emotions. So these emotions can actually be realized with Krishna on the bhava stage. Of course, Krishna is not so easily captured. Like I see Ben in front of me and Bhagavati. So Krishna, where is he? He is in the deity, of course, is there, but in the heart he is there. But we will come to that point where we can feel that friendship with Krishna, and he's reciprocated. So Buddhi Yoga, Srila Prabhupada is equaling that with spiritual intelligence, Buddhi Yoga. I think there is one more, 11. Instead of becoming an impersonalist and inviting misfortune and misery, the devotee surrenders to Lord Krishna and never suffers in this world. When he leaves his present body, he transcends the material platform and becomes eligible to participate in the Lord's eternal pastimes. So that we know also, when someone goes back home to Godhead, they don't go back straight to Godhead. They are taking birth somewhere on this earthly planet or another planet in the universe and taking part in Krishna's pastimes. And in those pastimes, they are trained up from the other gopis and the gopas and everybody else, the training in Krishna's pastimes, and then we are fit of going actually to Goloka. As a super soul, Lord Krishna enlightens the devotee from within the heart and disperses the gloom of ignorance. Nice, gloom of ignorance, pretty gloomy. The Lord gives the devotees the spiritual intelligence to attain him. That was a whole verse about Tesham Sattata Yuktanam. I give the intelligence. Obviously, Krishna speaks about spiritual intelligence, by which they can come to me. So Krishna will give. The ocean of nations is very difficult to cross. But when the devotee attempts to cross it, the Lord himself intervenes to help. Alone, the devotee would surely drown. But with the help of the Lord, he can easily cross over. Thus, taking shelter of the Lord is the surest way to surmount the ocean of material existence. Isn't that nice? So I think now we have a little bit of some idea of what spiritual intelligence is.
Because I have this first about intelligence, I would call it maybe a bit challenging, but I found in the internet just what is the definition of intelligence in general. So this is the ability to understand, to learn, to use the knowledge you already have, and to make some conclusions, because I have it in Polish here, and also analyzing and ability to adjust to the changes. So actually, intelligence comes from Latin word intelligentia, which means ability to understand. So using this definition, actually we can use this definition either to material or spiritual intelligence. So it's like in addition, that if we have some spiritual knowledge and we are using this knowledge to according to what is said, yes, so this is our intelligence becomes spiritualized. But of course there are these like wider definitions you have found, but just basic understanding of intelligence, because we in material world we say, oh, this person is not very intelligent, meaning that maybe he cannot compare easily or he cannot connect some things he heard. But fortunately, with spiritual intelligence, Krishna is helping us, and it is actually nothing to do with somebody's material abilities to understand. But also, I would like, if you don't mind, I would like to read something in connection to Lord Ram and to the surrender, which was mentioned today.
Not too much. Keep it short.
Yeah. Okay. This is the quotation from Ramayana. Can I just? So we can understand the seriousness of the mood of the genuine surrendered soul through the story of Vibhishan in the Ramayana. During the battle between Lord Ram and Ravan, Vibhishan, the brother of Ravan, came to take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra. He prayed to Lord Ramachandra, I am here to take shelter at your lotus feet. Please accept me as your own. I am yours. Hanuman and other associates of Lord Ram were very angry when they heard this and heavily chastised Vibhishan. They thought that Vibhishan was a spy coming to harm Lord Ram, and they told Ramachandra, don't give him shelter at your lotus feet. He cannot be trusted. Then Ramachandra took a vow in front of everyone. You will find his vow expressed in this shloka of Ramayana, Yudha Kanda 1833. Lord Ramachandra vowed, if anyone comes to me and once says, my dear Lord, I'm yours, I'm taking shelter at your lotus feet, I promise for all time to come that I will never leave him. Here Lord Ramachandra removes all possible fear from the hearts of the surrendered souls. He gives them 100% confidence and assurance that he will accept them as his own and never abandon them. He gives them the faith that he will forever take their charge.
Okay. Hare Krishna. I think, Rituan, you can speak now. I think we can hear you now.
Yeah, like in all these quotes, Prabhupada mentions like the spiritual intelligence is specifically endowed by Krishna, and with this help of intelligence, we can ultimately cross this material world and go back home, back to Godhead. So Prabhupada also mentions in certain areas of his purpose that unless until we reach the level of spontaneous devotional service, we have to be very careful, and there we have to utilize our spiritual intelligence in order to keep ourselves away from things which are detrimental to our spiritual advancement. So this is basically what I could understand is spiritual intelligence means that intelligence which will help us, which is the favorable intelligence, favorable towards Krishna consciousness, which will help us fix our mind, and as you mentioned, gradually climb up the ladder of bhakti and reach the stage of bhava or prem. So we have to use our spiritual intelligence in order to remain fixed, and just thus by remaining fixed in our Krishna consciousness, by associating with devotees, we'll be able to gradually reach the stage of bhava or prem. But what I understand is that I heard from devotees that how to grow this spiritual intelligence. That's a question, because material intelligence we get by studying books, by going to universities, colleges, and the common sense that we have grown up with. But the spiritual intelligence, how can we get spiritual intelligence? I think it's the more we have association with devotees, our spiritual intelligence will grow. And unless until we have association of devotees, our spiritual intelligence we can lose our spiritual intelligence, and it can become material, and thus will fall down from the spiritual pathway. Hare Krishna.
Okay, that's a very interesting question. Thank you very much. How we can grow our spiritual intelligence. In these quotes, we have just heard these yellow highlighted quotes. There was already a hint that if the material covering subsides, our spiritual intelligence will automatically grow. So as we get purified through chanting Hare Krishna and devotional service, and the heart gets purified, in the same proportion, our spiritual intelligence will grow automatically. So the question, how we can grow our spiritual intelligence? Just chanting Hare Krishna and engaging in devotional service very sincerely, and our heart gets scrubbed and our heart gets cleaned more and more, and the spiritual intelligence will grow more and more. Yes, does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhu. Just one question, yes. There are many devotees who has been, I'm talking about myself, we have been practicing Krishna consciousness for quite some time, but still sometimes it happens that we can because by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj and the spiritual masters, we can understand that sometimes what happens, our enthusiasm goes down, and sometimes we feel okay, we have chanted our 16 rounds, now let's become a little bit lazy or do something material or go this and that. So that means what I understand from that this is the position, or this is the condition where our spiritual intelligence is coming down, is being covered by material intelligence or Maya. So even we are trying to follow whatever Srila Prabhupada has given, whatever our spiritual masters have told us, the 16 rounds of 4 regulative principles, Ekadashi and other vratas. But still, we sometimes feel that our this enthusiasm or the vigor that that we see in some devotees who are really eager to serve or to do or to advance in Krishna consciousness, that vigor or that enthusiasm sometimes dims in within us. I'm talking about myself. So we are trying to chant as trying to chant sincerely, but still something is missing, which is making us somewhat slow in our pathway. So how to overcome that? Is it because we are not we are still we have to associate with material people here, and 2 days or 1 day we are associating for a few hours with devotees, but the rest of the week we are associating with material people, not just material people. Even what I sometimes feel is that, the surroundings, ambience, even our work pressure, or things at our job, they are affecting our mind. Even when we come back from the office and try to concentrate our mind in chanting, these things come into our mind. So I think that's how our spiritual intelligence is dimming down, and sometimes the material consciousness or the Maya takes over, and we feel okay, like something. We feel that it's okay, like we have done our duties in Krishna consciousness. Let's become a little bit lazier. Let's become a little bit, enjoy our senses, like that. Those things comes in our mind. So how to overcome that? That's my question. It's a long question, I know, but yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, you have answered your own question. Never mind. Okay. First of all, enthusiasm, spiritual enthusiasm is extremely important. Utsaha. So if we don't have such spiritual enthusiasm, there's something wrong with our spiritual life. Because if we Krishna conscious, that spiritual enthusiasm is there all the time. So you answered your own question, if we become a little bit lax. That's a problem. If we become a little bit lax and a little bit comfortable and a little bit of material enjoyment, immediately the utsaha will disappear or partially disappear. Our spiritual enthusiasm will be broken, and immediately our spiritual intelligence will also go down. It's just like that. It's just like the example of the spark in the fire. If the spark falls out of the fire on the wet grass, the spark will get extinguished. We take it and put it back into the fire, and everything is all right. So we have to keep in the fire of Krishna consciousness. And I have mentioned it before, that goes way back to Bhagavan. In 76, when Srila Prabhupada was in New Mayapur and I was there, and Srila Prabhupada gave the initiation ceremony, and he started it off, and then he left to his own room because his health was not good. So Bhagavan gave the address instead. And there's one example which I remember to this day because it was so accurate, is that he said, the sun is moving from the east to the west. If we move with the sun, we are always in the sunlight. But if we think we take a break, darkness will overcome us very quickly. That's a good example. Anybody who has been flying with a plane, particularly to India or America or a bit further away, if the plane is flying with the sun, there's always light. But as soon as we stop some airport, then the darkness will overcome us. So in Krishna consciousness, we have to constantly keep moving. Wherever we are, it doesn't matter so much on which stage we are. We're all on different stages. Devotees are on different stages. Some devotees here in this forum, and they're chanting a few rounds. Amit has now topped up to 15 rounds. And Rashmi is chanting 16 rounds, also not that long. And so, doesn't matter where we are, 1 round, 2 rounds, 5 rounds, 16 rounds, 1 principle, 3, 2, all 4 principles. Wherever we are, we have to make steady progress in increasing. So as long as we're moving ahead from 1 round to 2, if we don't stay on 2 rounds for eternity, or we're going back to no rounds, so as long as we're progressing and moving ahead, then that utsaha should be there. Moving, progressing, like the sun is moving from the east to the west. We just move along with the sun. We're progressing in our spiritual lives. And then that enthusiasm will always be there and fresh, and our spiritual intelligence will grow. Different for different devotees. For someone, it may grow quicker, and someone has more spiritual intelligence, but the point is, let it grow wherever we are, realistically. Let's chart out a way that we can make constant spiritual advancement. So the question really is, we are affected, of course, by material association. We work, you go to work, you go to hospital. Naturally, you would be affected. So what to do I mean, you spoke of the lip chanting last Wednesday, and that we can do, not at work perhaps, but on the way to work, on the way back, and so on and so on. So that will also keep us in the fire of Krishna consciousness. And if we think about any kind of preaching activities, any kind of sharing Krishna consciousness, surely that keeps us in the fire of giving Krishna consciousness to others. So the conclusion is, let's not become lax in our spiritual practices. Otherwise, the material energy immediately, and Srila Prabhupada explains also, if there is a little gap in our spiritual lives, Maya will fill it immediately. Immediately Maya will fill it. So we have to make sure there is no gap, and Maya has no entrance. And as soon as the Krishna consciousness is a little bit slack, a little bit goes down immediately, like water. It fills every crack. So Maya fills every crack where there is no Krishna consciousness. The solution is, let's try to, and we have spoken much about that, and Srila Prabhupada's quotes, always think of me, always practice some Krishna consciousness somehow or other, always be in the fire of Krishna consciousness. Does that kind of address your question?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
What else? Is Amrita Radhe there? Or she's cooking?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
She's there.
Yes,
She's in the
Prabhu.
kitchen, another phone.
You're not cooking. Okay. You have anything to say?
Yes, Prabhu, I would like to narrate a story from Srila Prabhupada's life. So one devotee, she was a transcriber of Srila Prabhupada's lecture. She wrote a letter.
Can you come a bit closer to the microphone?
Oh, sorry.
Come a bit closer.
So one devotee wrote to Srila Prabhupada that Prabhupada, I can't do much for you because I'm completely a dullard, meaning I'm not a very intelligent person. So Prabhupada wrote back to her and said, it's okay to be a materially dullard or materially not so intelligent. And don't worry, Krishna will give you intelligence to serve. This is one. Another time, there was in Bhagavad Gītā, Srila Prabhupada quotes Chanakya Pandit one day, that one time, I think in chapter 1 itself, that women are not so intelligent, and therefore they're not trustworthy. So the men devotees of ISKCON started, quoting that again and again. So Vishaka Mataji spoke to Srila Prabhupada and asked him, Prabhupada, men are saying that women are not so intelligent. So Srila Prabhupada said, don't worry, keep chanting, you'll become the most intelligent. So, and just some things around intelligence.
Hare Krishna. These women are not so intelligent. That doesn't apply to devotees. Sir. Devotee women are very intelligent. Otherwise, they wouldn't be devotees. Otherwise, they wouldn't be practicing. And they're very advanced. Madhajis there. There's no question about it. So they're highly intelligent. Even more intelligent than some men. So we couldn't say women are. On the material platforms, that might be her. But on the spiritual platform, not at all. For devotees, that doesn't apply at all. Anyway, thank you very much. Yes, that was nice. Anything else?
So just I would like to actually thank you, Prabhu, to put it. It is very clear that especially devotee women are, the fact that we are taking the process, it means that we have some type of intelligence, but also this is I'm happy that there is some progress in that, because there is a sentence in Bhagavad Gītā in one of the purports that women are less intelligent, And
That's not negotiable.
yes, but sometimes devotees, sometimes long time, they were just taking these quotations, and according to the definition of fanaticism, I heard once that fanaticism means that you focus on one thing, take it out of the context, out of everything, and then you make the whole philosophy. You might even make the whole philosophy of that. But this is a past, I think. So that's, thank you.
Thank you very much, Bhagavati Mataji. Yes, there has been various attitudes there. I mean, we know in the history of ISKCON that brahmacharis were complaining that the women were chanting in the temple room and they could be distracted and like that. And they went to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, if the brahmacharis are distracted from the women in the temple, they should go to the forest and chant. What Prabhupada said. So he didn't send the woman out there, but I mean, there were sannyasis and they were very immature, and many things have happened. No, Prabhupada had high regard for his woman disciples, very high regard. Okay, anything else? The offering is on the altar. We could theoretically do a little bit more kirtan. Ben, you have anything else? Wait. Yes? Wait, let me switch over. Wait.
No, it's just some of the points you made about spiritual intelligence, and just how, regardless of what your material intelligence is, if you have a desire to make progress in spiritual life, it's been said that when we read the original verse, that the devotee, who can't really take advantage of his spiritual master and the scriptures to such a degree. But Krishna within the heart, Chaitya Guru, he's providing that intelligence and inspiration. So, it's like, it's, in a sense, is not really, intelligence is not really the issue, because if you have the right attitude, the right sentiment, feeling, then Krishna is reciprocating that with the individual living entity who has got his own personal relationship with the Lord anyway. And because we're seeing things from a materialistic vision, where we don't see, we're not understanding things from Krishna's vision.
Thank you very much, Ben. Actually, what just comes to my mind also in regard to utsaha, enthusiasm, or what Ben just addressed as well. There is a quote where it says, Krishna in the heart makes everything fresh and new. That's interesting. Krishna in the heart, because everybody wants that experience of fresh and new, but people in the material consciousness, they're looking for fresh and new, fresh car, new girlfriend, new this, new that, and fresh that. That's what they're going. Everybody has a desire of something, experience fresh and new. But it's actually Krishna in the heart. You don't need anything outside. He makes our experiences fresh and new. If our attitude is right, our spiritual intelligence is established, and Krishna can make. In a split second, he gives us that enthusiasm, and all our experiences are fresh and new. And we like that, because everything is fresh and new and not hackneyed and dull. That is beautiful. We want to be in that kind of state of feeling and consciousness all the time. That's why people take drugs also. They want to compensate. They're looking for this kind of feeling. Nobody wants to be just dull, every day is the same thing and just slaving and slogging on and like that. So Krishna, if he is pleased, he makes everything fresh and new in the heart. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay. Anything else from the Sumas?
Prabhu, just one small story. There's one video of Kurma Rupa Prabhu, who was the founder of Care for Cows in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So he was sharing that there was this one boy, his bodily movements were disoriented, and he was, as they say, mentally a bit affected because he's basically, as they say, mentally retarded. He was that kind of a boy, but his parents had sent him to the Care of Cows Goshala to serve. So he used to serve the cows, clean their area. And Kurma Rupa Prabhu said that through his service, the cows and the Lord have blessed him, and there's a significant improvement in his ability to further serve the cows, as in his disorientation had improved, and some mental strength also he gained. So, as we were discussing, Krishna provides intelligence and also the ability to serve if you are ready to serve. That's it, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That is a well-known recipe. If anybody has any mental problems, send them to the cows, because the cows are in the mode of goodness or nice, and everybody's mental situation will be sorted out immediately if he associates with the cows. Okay, here we stop. We do a little bit more kirtan.